The only way we're going to even get those small changes inside of this system is that we have to be persistent and consistent. If we don't and go back to the regularities in our mind, we will be doing all this protesting and looting for absolutely nothing.
And that's my point. We've been doing that.
But hold on, bro. Let me tell you why it's gonna change this time. It ain't gonna change because of us out there in the street. The reason why it's gonna change this time. The reason why it's gonna change this time is because of all of the white kids out there in the street. The white kids that's out there right now while we at home, that's still in the street protesting. They have gotten upset. And now white people are starting to finally see us as equal instead of taking up more so for the human, like Steve was saying. It was a time, man, not too long ago, they cared more about the rights of dogs and whales and animals than they cared more about. What about when Michael Vick got, well, look what he got arrested for. Come on, man. They were fighting for them dog rights. You put a mink on your back. Man. They was treating animals better than they was treating us. I think the playing field is starting to be leveled a little bit now, man.
I hope you're correct, because this is all I would say, Mark, to that, is that you're not what you are in your feelings. You're only what you are outside of your feelings. Wow. So when you're in your feelings, that's not who you are, because you're in your feelings right now. You're in your feelings. So you're doing these things because of your feelings, but that's not who you are. You are who you are outside of your feelings. When you get outside of the feelings of feeling that way for us, we're going to see what your actions are then. And I hope that you're correct, because I would love for you to be right.
Right. And the fact of it, this right here could actually go on for a while. I don't see this stopping soon, because
no, bro.
The government they're not gonna give in. They're gonna drag it out as long as they can, and we have to be ready to stand for the long haul, man. So this is not something. So when you say get out of your emotions, we're gonna be in our emotions for a while. And so
he talking about white people. He talking about white people. He talking about us. He talking about white people acting out of their emotions.
But you can still look at it on the other side too. A lot of our actions are in our emotions right now. And so when we come out of our emotions, how consistent and persistent, the words he used, are we going to be? Like, is this just a movement for 2 weeks? Like, at some point, and what's crazy, man, is we have to do something different, because they'll get us. This is how they get us every time.
Q, that's my point, man.
I'm an outlast. So you know what? We'll let y'all do this for 2 weeks, but I know at some point you're gonna need something. And so,
but that's my point, and that's my point, Q. We have been so dependent on this establishment. We don't know how to go grow our own food. We don't know how to be self-sustained by the earth and use the sun and grow. Like, we are so dependent on, the majority of the people in the world are so dependent on the establishment, and they know this. So until we get to a place where we really are serious about saying, we don't need you, government. We, the people, can come together. We have our own food system. We have our own police system. Yeah. We have our own education system, because every system that's been created and given to us by the establishment is a system that needs to be blown up. Yeah. We know the education system needs to be blown up. We know the political system needs to be blown up. And so why in my mind would I go knock on City Hall door to protest them to change something when that's what we've been doing?
Yeah, Steve, but I'm gonna tell you this. You're absolutely right, but we're not the only ones who know this. The people who know this better than anyone is the government that's in control and has been in control.
Stirring the pot.
We start to develop any systems like that, they've been blown up or torn out, or leaders of those organizations have been shut down. I mean, the way the Black Panther Party villainized and murdered the way that they were, that was not an accident. It wasn't because they were militant or the government was scared of them. It was because we were feeding our own people and educating our own people and raising our own children and learning how to do the things that you're talking about, being self-sufficient. The worst thing that you can be in a, what kind of government do we have? Capitalistic government, is to be self-sufficient. That's their biggest fear.
Right. And Stevie, to add to what you're saying, bro, you are absolute on the right altitude. But at the end of the day, the more that you speak about it, the more that you say it, the more you become a threat, Tupac. No matter what it is. Farrakhan said, you can't give them all three. I was having an interview the other day, and Scrappy was like, I met with Farrakhan. He said, I want my mind, my body, and my spirit to all add up to what I'm doing with my music. And he was like, yeah, do them one at a time. He's like, why is that? He said, because if you try to give them all of them at the same time, they're going to kill you. You can't be that smart. You can't be that powerful all at the same time. There's no, they're going to take it. They're going to rip it away from you. They're going to do all this.
So let's go. This moment from here, right? We talked about this moment. They all got arrested, okay? So what's the next steps? We know we want a conviction, but what's the next thing that we're in control of? What do we have? What's our demand? What's our ask right now?
For me, my ask is for justice. Like Q said, they need to be in jail, and they need to be in jail forever, and they never need to come out ever again. And I also love social media that we all stay on social media and keep pushing our narrative. That's one thing I love about social media more than anything. I think it's very important that we keep pushing the narrative of what we desire, because that's what has changed a lot of this compared to other people. So now when you know about Ahmaud Arbery, as soon as you did that, this is what happens. Now you know about George Floyd, you see this, you record it, this is what happens. We are now the reporters. We are now the conversationalists that we're doing now. And I think that's important for us to keep pushing the narrative to make sure that you know that there's a threat on the other side in every city that is waiting for you to tell us what you're going to do about this situation. And if you don't do something, we're going to do something.
Right. I think to answer that question, Brad, this goes back to what you said in the last time we was on, that we don't have a leader whose voice we can follow. But I heard a leader today whose voice that I think we can follow that spoke to exactly what you just mentioned, and that's former President Obama. And when he was giving his remarks in regards to what's the next step, he put his information, or I should say, he put the emphasis on the mayors. Let's start to deal with the laws. Let's start to make a difference in the police department, the construct, how they are trained on down the line. So I think what we're doing right now, we're looking for reform, prison reform, and we're looking for all of these police departments in each city to go under heavy scrutiny in regards to how they operate and how they deal with the public in which they've been given the right to serve. But you're right, Steve. Don't be taking notes over there, boy, so you can come back.
Hey, I'm just saying, until we can police the police, until we have a system where if I see you treating a person wrong, if I see you ragdolling a little girl and you're a grown man, if I see you two police officers like the dude chokes with his knee on this guy's neck, I wanted to come through the TV and I'm talking about take that man's head off, bro. Right. Until we can do stuff like that as citizens and police the police, we're not going to get the justice that we want. We're just going to keep losing people.
We got to become the police, just like the KKK made up in their minds secretly that they're going to start to take those positions as police so that they can get their point, their message across. That's what they did. They became the police to get their agenda across.
So you're gonna come, but see, the difference is, Mark, is that the system is a European system that's already been set up by Europeans. So they will always have the upper hand. And it's not about race to me. I still feel we're dealing with economics first, ideas and classism.
Yeah. No doubt.
You know, but I also recognize that if my race is in control of a thing, then I'm gonna lean towards that, and that's gonna be the narrative that's gonna get the truth told about it every time. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. So when you recognize this government, this establishment, this corporation called the United States of America in particular, has always been a corporation that has never seen us as equal, you know, and
But Stevie, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Mark just gave his list of like what he said his demands are. So staying on topic, what would your demands be? What are you saying that you want next?
We need to be a nation within a nation, because right now we're a nation within a non-nation looking for our nationality.
Mm. What is the next step, Stevie Baggs Jr.?
Economically, we got to change. We have to do something. We got to create our own schools. We got to create our own economic structure.
No, wait, I agree. Let me reword it. What is if you had to give a sheet of paper That's simple enough for a Republican to understand. I'm sorry, a Trump supporter to understand this. If you had to put it on the sheet of paper, we want this, this, and this, so that things can.
I'm not asking a system that was not created for me for shit.
So you
I'm
have
not asking them for anything.
So you don't negotiate.
No, we got to do it. We have to do it ourselves. No, we got to do this shit ourselves, man. I'm telling you, you can't go asking them for something when this is their system. It's their constitution.
I ain't say ask.
It's their legislation.
Demands.
How you gonna demand the government to do something? We've been demanding for them to do it. As soon as Martin Luther King said something about economic reform, they killed him. As soon as he said, give us economic reform, they got him up out of here.
But do you,
when he was talking equality, oh, come on. You can ride. Matter of fact, you don't got to sit in the back of the bus. You can drive the bus. But guess what? We still own the bus and all the bus systems.
So Stevie, I agree with you. It's not effective to ask. Asking was Kaepernick taking a kneel, and we supported that. It's like, hey, here's your chance. We just asked you. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff being said on there is a demand. You know what I mean? It looks a little bit different. Q, what would your demands be to the government for
I mean, I see it both ways, right? And just bear with me for a second, right? So, yeah, we have to, whatever it is, there's power in the collective. And so whatever the movement is, we have to all have our separate meetings, our separate gatherings to figure out what's our plan and how we're going to strategize, mobilize it, and make it happen. Like we as a people have to have those conversations, establish who are going to be the leaders of the movements and really get on one accord. Now, I do agree with you, Stevie. I don't necessarily believe us asking for anything is going to ever solve anything. However, because we are within the society and the nation and all in the government that we are in some regards, we got to learn and play the game. We got to play the game, right? And so the answer for me now goes to your elected officials. Get somebody in there, man, who is going to understand what we've planned, what we've plotted, what we've strategized, and now it's time and organized, and now it's time to mobilize it. So I'm both ways with it, man. We had to do an internal movement and some movements, but then also understanding that we still, unless we just gonna go rogue as a people, we have to find out a way. We got to figure out a way to kind of rebel within the system. And the only way we're gonna do that is put the right people in place, man, who understands what we've just planned and strategized on.
Yeah,
I'll
let you respond.
No, I was just saying, do you think the people in Tulsa, Oklahoma that started their own everything, do you think they went to the government and demanded, or do you think they just did it? They just did it.
They just did it.
And that's all I'm saying. We have to just do it.
No. But we got to do better than they did. And much respect to all of them. But the thing that they were missing, unfortunately, was the ability to protect themselves. Mm-hmm. That was the one. That was the one thing they were missing, the ability to demand. They were simply asking. And I would say, you know, for me personally, it's the reason why I backed Bernie Sanders for president and even put money into it, is because what I want to see at the end of the day is the end of the slavery system. Because I think that modernized slavery is the reason why to this day we can't get reparations. It's the reason why we look in the rearview mirror and we see those blue lights on, our stomach drops. You know what I mean? Because we know. It trips me out when I see white people like, why didn't he stop resisting? It's like, because I didn't want to go into the slavery system. You don't know what it's like. Anything could happen to me. I'm gonna fight for my life right now. And I think they don't understand that, and they're fighting for their own stuff right now. But I would say if I'm looking at a list of demands, it would look a lot like some of the stuff that Atlanta's been getting right now, which is they've gotten the end of the cash bail system. And they've gotten the decriminalization of marijuana. I would say the legalization of it. I would say the legalization and expungement of anything that Black people do that's not harmful to the general public. You know what I mean? Just excuses to put us in jail. My demands would be the end of that, and we won't fuck all this shit up. But otherwise, I don't know what to tell you.
But watch this. The things that you just spoke about Atlanta was because of the person who's actually in charge of Atlanta, which is the person that we put in office.
Agreed.
Yeah, but see, that's why I agree with you, Q, on both sides, is that What we got to do is play poker. Like I said again, passionately speaking, Stevie is right on the end. Why we got to go ask? Why we got to go ask? But this is what I will say. If we add the ideology that Stevie's talking about with the game plan that you're talking about, then we can probably manifest something strong, because what happens is we can take their money, their systematic systems, the things that they're doing, and take that and put it into the foundation of building our own crop and doing the things that we do. Unfortunately, we don't think that way collectively. Well, that's the problem. So even if we got a lot of money and all these, celebrities and athletes and all these people got a lot of money, what they don't have is a lot of vision. And that vision ain't their vision. So that's the key. We got to get people who have the Tulsa, Oklahoma vision to say, this is what we're going to do. Now, Stevie got this money, Q got this money, I got this money, Jay-Z got this money, and we have the same vision. What happens is the more money we get, unfortunately, the vision gets even more selfish.
The more Europeanized you want to go. And that's my point. Every other culture, they come together, do their business together, and they trade and have commerce, import, export with this system. You got Koreatown, you got Chinatown, you got Little Italy, you got all these other different commerces and different cultures and ethnicities. They have their own nucleus, and they ebb and flow inside of this system. We're the only ones that go get all of our money and then give it right back to a system that wasn't created for us, because something else has been governing our mental. You have an education system that has told you since day one that you are a slave. You're a derivative of a slave. So you're going to do slave shit.
Absolutely.
Not only that, Stevie, they didn't just teach you were a slave. They taught you how to behave in their society. I think it's so funny that we use certain words that they gave us, even though we know there's other meanings for it. In other words, fighting for yourself is called resisting. Arrest, we call it arrest, but it's actually kidnapping. You know what I mean? But we use different terms for things just because it makes it softer for us, or we know how to behave because of it. It's like a way of training us. And like you said, it's our educational system. Like from the time when we barely start learning to speak, we start learning to operate in the ways they want us to move. It's not until we get older. That's why there's not woke little kids. You know what I'm saying? Unless their parents were really involved.
From day one.
You have to grow up and start to begin to make up your own mind before you figure out, you know what, this is crazy. What I'm subjecting myself to. How can I rise above it?
And you know what's craziest, brothers, is that the sad part about that is, unfortunately, and I don't know, just I'll use my brother terminology, Stevie, in my humbled opinion, I don't know, but this is what I'll say. I don't know in our lifetime that we'll be able to experience that part.
No,
that
we won't.
About. Because I'll tell you what, I think our children have a better chance taking what we're talking about and really applying it and making it different. Because it's crazy that we'll talk and get on this Zoom and other people get on this Zoom and we do this and they're not coming for the information that you're sharing. They're coming for the negativity of it. So whatever is the negativity is what you're drawn to. It's not the positive affirmations. It's not the information. It's not to be informed. That's not why you hear. You hear online because of the negativity that you see. This is why it's trending. And long as our mind as a culture is attracted to negativity only, you will never have positive growth on another level. If the people out here talking it and walking it and telling you, it doesn't matter if they're on the side of the curb or they wrote a book, whatever the case may be, you go right past them. But if we're talking about sex, if we're talking about murder, we're talking about power, we're talking about killing, everybody's going to tune in. So this is why the world is tuned in. Yes, it's becoming good because through negativity, now we're having, this big uprise. But my point is, going further, after that happens, we'll go right back into our shells as turtles and wait for power to come on. And there's nothing wrong with power. I like power. But at the same time, I want to watch power and I want to turn on something and listen to y'all talk and give me some information and inform me on some things that I may not know.
Hey, Vaughn. Hey, Vaughn.
We're right here. We're right here at the end of the show now. We got to get up out of here. We covered a lot. There's a lot more to go. I'm gonna end off on Will Smith for president.
I'm gonna end off on, man, let's just keep striving and making steps for a better world.
I'll end off on, man, find a youngin', man, and love on him and empower him and give as much knowledge as you can.
I'm going to end off for the entertainment world. Stop acting out the negativity and allowing the other people to produce it.
I'm going to end off with right wing, left wing, but it's one bird.
Woo!
Right wing, left wing, one bird.
The truth is real enough for a man,
but it's
made for the world. Made for the world.